Hello, everyone. I bring you warm greetings. Today, I would like to invite you to the Emancipation Unit. The Emancipation Unit. Basically, it's a global movement that fights negative practices around the world. You know, gone were the days when nations fought for their own independence. And truly, they won their independence. And today, nations are growing, from strength to strength. But I believe we have come to a point where today we live in what one would call a global village. I will not take you far. Just look at the recent incidents that happened in China. Just in a short space of time, this COVID-19 had traveled to all over the world. So I invite you for us to join hands. This is the time to fight for global independence. Every nation has been so much concerned about their own, what will happen to them and how to develop, which is a good thing. But from our era today, the world has grown so much that you cannot afford to be an island. If you can, I am challenging you with what happened recently, where COVID-19 has entered into every little space. It did not come as a matter of choice, but it just came like that because the world was so relaxed. Nations thought that they were heavily defended, and this one just took us by surprise. So this movement, which is the Emancipation Unit, is all of us coming together. It is not one nation thing. It is not one man thing. So I invite you, I urge you to join hands for us to come together to fight for global independence, where we will fight against ill practices that goes on around the world, where we will empower people from all continents, people from different nations to fight cases like physical abuse. Today, our women are being raped here and there. Our women are being taken away. Women trafficking, sex trafficking, children are being taken away as slaves against their own will. This is the time for us to join hands and fight against these negative practices in society, emotional abuse here and there. When you walk around the street of many nations, women are crying out and their voices are not being heard. What is going on in our world today? So I want us to come together and fight against cases like racism. Racism has been there for years, but I think the time has come for the youth to join hands together with the old alike, for us to fight against ill practices. Recently, a documentary that we all experienced, we watched about George Floyd. Now, we heard voices speaking against racism. Then I asked myself, is this really necessary for us to talk one time and keep quiet? When we remember our freedom fighters, the likes of Abraham Lincoln, I do not need to remind you about how much effort he fought to bring us to this far. The lives of Mahatma Gandhi. I do not have to remind you about the lives of Martin Luther King Jr. I don't have to remind you about the lives of Nelson Mandela. I do not have to remind you about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. How much these men and women, though I did not mention a woman, but we have many women alike who have joined hands. They have shed their blood for us to come to this far. It is time for you and I to join hands together. It is time for us to fight the case of George Floyd. I heard nations trying to talk, to support, to talk against this ill practice. When a black young man had to be subjected to such an embarrassing moment to the point of death. I heard nations, African nations, talking about it when right before their own noses, the same incidences are going on. When xenophobia is living in our countries and we cannot address these things. And we have the confidence to move across, to advise what is happening in other places. The time has come for us to be straightforward with matters. When in our own nations we see gender-based abuse, gender-based violence, whatever you call it, women are being raped. Do you think you care? There is something in law that they say silence means consent. Every day women are being abused, particularly in Africa. What do? Women are being forced to enter into marriages that they are not happy about. They don't have a say. Ask yourself. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is that this is not a time for political talks. You cannot wait for one human to light fire and put it on another fellow and burn completely to ashes year by year, and then come and say we regret for such an incident. That does not bring a solution. The solution is in our hands. It is time to face the truth and then fix matters. Recently, the same issue of COVID-19, when it emerged from China. Now, we heard and we saw the documentary about how some Chinese people were abusing black people. And I asked myself, what is going on? They were blaming the black people for spreading COVID-19. And our leaders sit down and say, we are having discussions with these people. It is time to cut all political talks and then do what must be done. If that fellow Chinese call himself or herself a human, is that how humans behave? Because the person does not share your genes, so you have to behave like that. Come to my nation, Ghana. You will see many Chinese. Unfortunately, some of our leaders have given the best part to them. And they are doing all forms of illegal mining. And they are even killing our own people. And our leaders sit down and keep quiet. What is this? This is the time for us to stand up for our right. I urge all the youth around the world. I'm not talking about only Ghana. I'm not talking about only Kenya. I'm not representing only South Africa. I'm not representing only USA or Canada. I'm talking about all the nations of the world. The time has come for us to join hands. It is time to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. As a young white fellow whom your parents have brought you up, you were once nice and fine with your colleague, your friend in the childhood days. But once you entered into the university, things changed and you saw yourself as a different person. I challenge you today that you have the right to live a free life. You do not have to live from the past mistakes of your parents. As a young black fellow, you do not have to follow the ideas that some of your fathers put in your mind that hate the white person. I therefore challenge you today that the time has come to eradicate all forms of bitterness from our midst. I tell you today that your problem is not a black man. Your problem is not a white man. Your problem is not a foreigner. Your problem is right here in your mind. The time has come to change your thinking, your attitude. Your problem is not with your wife. Your problem is you. You are the main cause. Now, I want us to join together and fight. Things like xenophobia, racism, discrimination, and hostility are clear signs of low self-esteem and the lack of disciplined moral values. Only people with a weak mindset exhibit such traits. I tell you today that a citizen without any mission and vision for their country is as bad as an enemy. I therefore invite you. I may not be able to come to your country, but I believe that as we join hands and share opinions and bring what is happening in other nations across board, as we bring onto this platform and discuss, we will be able to send a strong message to world leaders to be aware that we, the youth, we are ready to fight for our global independence. We are ready to put things right. It is an error for you, a fully grown up young person, to listen to voices that you must hate your neighbor. And you take a knife and you stab your neighbor. You call that strength, and you call that strength? That is cowardice. That is cowardice. You take a gun and you start shooting because you don't like the person. You call that boldness. You call that confidence. That is cowardice. Only cowards work out things that way. So I want to invite you, friends, colleagues, invite everyone to be on board, that let us come and then put our pieces together. Let us debate about matters. Let us make use of this platform. I believe that we have better people out there who can speak clearly, better than I do. I want such men and women to come on board, people with brighter ideas, how we can save our people, both white and black, both Chinese, Indians, whatever that you can think of. All category of men and women, we are interested. To be human is what we are talking about, and not to come from a certain part of the world, to be human. So I want us to come together. I want us to understand the message and then fight. Some people are crossing the ocean as we speak, all because they are running away from their countries and their continent. And you ask yourself, what went wrong? So these are the matters that we will be bringing across in our discussion. I thank you so much for your time and for your patience. I thank you for your boldness. I want you to come on board. Invite as many people as you can. I want you to subscribe to this channel. This channel is made for you. It's made for everyone. For us to find better ways to solve our problems. To invite experts. Those who have the know-how to show us the way forward. As I bring my talk to an end, I would like to also commend the young men and women who are in the forefront of fighting for our emancipation. I believe that our freedom was won, but then a greater one is still yet to be won, which is the one from the brain. I thank you very much. Like this video and subscribe. And then let us get in touch and then build together as a unit. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.